There are moments in life when a woman walks through storms, yet her face reflects the serenity of a calm sea. She faces betrayal, slander, jealousy, and silent attacks, but her peace remains untouched. This is not ordinary peace. It is a divine covering placed upon her by God. Evil people may try to break her confidence or disturb her mental clarity, but the peace within her heart remains unshakable because it comes from a higher source. When others around her panic, she remains composed. It is not because she is numb to life's challenges, but because she trusts a force greater than her fears. She knows that whatever evil is planned against her cannot succeed without God's permission. This unexplainable peace becomes her shield. It confuses those who try to hurt her because they see their efforts bear no fruit. Sometimes she is quiet, sitting alone, reflecting deeply, but inside she is speaking to her Creator. This constant spiritual connection keeps her heart guarded from the chaos outside. People wonder why she does not react with rage or revenge when hurt. It is because her soul is anchored in divine stillness. The more evil people try to disturb her peace, the stronger her inner sanctuary grows. Even in moments of rejection or public humiliation, her tears carry hope within them. Her sadness never turns into bitterness. She forgives quickly, not for them, but to keep her inner peace intact. This is the sign of a woman who knows she is protected by God. She understands that clinging to anger invites evil, but holding on to peace invites angels. Her aura radiates a sense of calmness that silences evil words before they reach her spirit. She may hear them, but they bounce back without leaving a scar. Her peace frustrates the plans of those who wish to see her broken. They cannot comprehend how someone can stand firm after so much hatred and betrayal. When God chooses to protect a woman, He places a fortress of serenity around her. Even if evil people gossip against her, try to isolate her, or turn others against her, she still sleeps peacefully at night. Her heart rests in the knowledge that no weapon formed against her shall prosper. Her peace is her weapon, and her calmness is her silent victory. This peace becomes a testimony to others. Many silently observe her strength and start to believe in divine protection because of her. Without preaching a single word, she becomes an example of God's promise to guard those who seek Him sincerely. She becomes living proof that peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of God. Therefore, when you see a woman surrounded by storms yet walking with a calm spirit, know that she is deeply protected by God. Her unexplainable peace in chaos is a powerful sign that no evil formed against her will ever overcome her. She is not merely strong. She is divinely guarded in every step she takes. Sometimes in life, people with hidden agendas enter her world with smiles and sweet words. They pretend to care for her, to support her dreams, and to stand by her side. But deep down, their intentions are rooted in jealousy, greed, or manipulation. Yet mysteriously, these people never stay long in her life. Without her even trying, they are exposed or removed. It often happens suddenly. A friend who used to call daily starts fading away. A relationship that seemed perfect falls apart overnight. An opportunity with hidden traps collapses before she steps into it. In those moments, she might feel confused and wonder why things are falling away. But in reality, God is protecting her from evil that she cannot see. Those with bad intentions find themselves uncomfortable in her presence for long. Her spirit, filled with sincerity, light, and truth, becomes intolerable for their dark motives. Their lies, games, and schemes start surfacing. They may blame her or accuse her of being the problem, but in truth, it is God's way of showing their real faces before they cause deep harm. Sometimes she feels pain from their departure because she loved them or trusted them. She may cry, feeling abandoned, but later she realizes it was never a loss. It was a divine rescue. God heard conversations she did not hear and saw actions behind closed doors that she never saw. His love for her is so powerful that He removes anyone planning her downfall. These sudden exits are not punishments. They are blessings in disguise. They are proof that her life is not hers alone to guard. She is covered by divine eyes watching every move around her. Evil people who try to dig traps for her end up falling into their own. She does not need to fight them with anger or revenge. God fights silently on her behalf. Over time, she learns to stop questioning why people leave suddenly. She starts thanking God for these quiet departures. She understands that every exposure is an act of divine mercy. She starts thanking God for these quiet departures. She understands that every exposure is an act of divine mercy. It is God's way of clearing her path, so she walks without carrying poisonous attachments that drain her spirit. The beauty of this protection is that it happens without her knowledge or effort. She simply focuses on her prayers, her work, her kindness, and her journey, while God clears out every hidden enemy in her surroundings. This is a sign of a woman under divine protection. Evil people can plan all they want, but they cannot remain hidden for long in her life. When you see a woman losing relationships, friendships, or connections, suddenly, but continuing her journey with strength, know that God is shielding her. People with bad intentions leaving her life suddenly is a powerful sign that no darkness will ever conquer her light. She is deeply protected and guided by God's unseen hands at every step. There is something extraordinary about a woman who carries strong intuition within her. She may not have formal knowledge about human psychology or hidden motives, yet her heart knows the truth before it is revealed. This intuition is not merely a feeling. It is divine wisdom whispering to her spirit. It is God's way of alerting her to people who do not carry good intentions. She can sense when someone is lying, even if their words sound perfect. She can feel heaviness in her spirit when someone with dark energy approaches her life. Often, she cannot explain it logically, but her soul feels uneasy. That unease is her protection. It is God warning her. This person is not for you. Stay away. Many times in life, her intuition saves her from relationships that would have destroyed her self-worth. She steps back before getting deeply attached, even if the person appears ideal to everyone else. Some call her cold, guarded, or too selective, but in truth, she is simply listening to the divine voice within her that keeps her safe. There are moments when she meets someone new and immediately feels something is off. Her heart feels restless, her mind feels clouded, and she cannot find peace around them. Even if that person is charming and respected by others, her inner voice warns her to maintain distance. This is not judgment, it is protection. Her intuition is strongest when she is closest to God. The more she prays, reflects, and lives righteously, the clearer her inner guidance becomes. God amplifies her discernment to keep her away from traps, toxic friendships, secret enemies, and relationships that would derail her purpose. Her intuition becomes her silent guardian. Sometimes she ignores these feelings and suffers later, but each painful experience teaches her never to silence her inner voice again. Over time, she learns to trust it fully. Before committing to people, plans, or decisions, she listens deeply. If peace flows through her, she moves forward. If heaviness fills her spirit, she steps back, no matter how appealing the opportunity looks. People wonder how she avoids betrayals and heartbreaks so often. They do not realize it is because God has placed a powerful radar within her soul. She walks through life with a spiritual alarm system that keeps her safe from hidden daggers masked with false affection. Therefore, when you see a woman with strong intuition about people, know that it is a divine sign of protection. She is guided not by logic alone, but by God's wisdom flowing through her heart. Evil people may fool the world, but they cannot deceive her spirit. Her intuition is her shield, her secret weapon, and her unwavering proof that God is always by her side. There are times in life when a woman feels trapped by betrayal, financial struggles, or the silent evil of people plotting against her. In these moments, she feels isolated and powerless. Yet, unexpectedly, help arrives in ways she could never imagine. Doors open, hearts soften, strangers step in to assist her, and opportunities appear just when she needs them the most. This help does not always come from people she knows. Often, it comes from unexpected sources. Someone she barely spoke to offers her guidance, or a random act of kindness from a stranger changes the direction of her day. Sometimes, even her enemies are forced by God to help her, without understanding why they feel compelled to assist her. When she feels there is no way out, God sends relief that surpasses her understanding. It may be a job offer when her finances were about to collapse, or a friend appearing to comfort her when she is drowning in silent tears. This is not mere coincidence. This is divine orchestration, proving that she is never alone. She may not see God's hand physically, but she feels His presence through the people and opportunities sent her way. These moments strengthen her faith. She realizes that no matter how evil people plan against her, God's plan for her life is greater and cannot be blocked by their intentions. Sometimes the help she receives exposes the evil plans against her. Someone informs her about betrayals behind her back, or a sudden delay prevents her from walking into a trap set by others. What seemed like a setback becomes her ultimate rescue. These are moments when she realizes that delays are not denials. They are divine protection. This unexpected help also humbles her. It reminds her that her strength is not her own. It comes from the Creator who never abandons her. She begins to walk with quiet confidence, knowing that if God is for her, no one can stand against her. Evil people may gather to plot her downfall, but she rises higher each time they try to pull her down. Over time, her faith deepens. She stops depending entirely on people and starts depending fully on God. She learns that help will always come, but it will come from where He chooses, not necessarily from where she expects. Her trust in Him becomes unbreakable because she has seen His protection manifest repeatedly in her life. Therefore, when you see a woman receiving unexpected help in her difficult times, know that she is protected by God. She is guarded not by her resources, but by His mercy. Evil people may try to block her path, but divine help will always reach her, proving that those who are covered by God's light can never be trapped by darkness. There's a rare power in the words of a woman who is protected by God. When she speaks, her words carry truth and conviction that pierce through falsehood. She does not need to raise her voice to be heard. Her calm tone carries more weight than loud arguments, and her words often leave a lasting impact on the hearts of those who listen. People with evil intentions feel threatened by her words, not because she attacks them, but because her speech exposes hidden realities. Her insights are sharp and guided by wisdom beyond her years. She speaks with honesty and clarity, and her words naturally repel manipulators and liars who thrive in confusion and deception. When she gives advice, it is filled with sincerity and truth. She does not sugarcoat what needs to be said, but she also does not speak to harm others. Her words aim to guide, uplift, and protect. This is why people seek her counsel, and even those who dislike her cannot deny the truth in what she says. God uses her words as instruments of light in dark places. At times, her silence also becomes powerful speech. She knows when to speak and when to remain quiet. Her silence in front of evil people speaks louder than any argument. They feel exposed, knowing she sees through them without uttering a single word. This controlled speech and silence protect her from unnecessary battles. She never uses her words to manipulate or deceive others. Her speech is rooted in integrity and purity of intention. Because of this, God places a special blessing in her tongue. What she says with pure intentions often manifests, and her prayers carry power because her words come from a sincere, clean heart. When evil people try to argue with her, they end up feeling unsettled because her words carry calm authority. They cannot twist her statements or trap her into contradictions because she speaks from truth, not ego. This frustrates those who seek to overpower her with lies and mind games, and they eventually distance themselves from her life. Over time, people learn to respect her speech. They may not agree with her at first, but her words remain in their minds, transforming them silently. Even her smallest statements hold lessons and wisdom that guide others long after she has spoken them. This is not human power alone. It is divine protection working through her words. Therefore, when you see a woman whose words carry power and truth, know that she is deeply protected by God. Her speech is her shield, and her truth is her sword. Evil people cannot remain near her for long, because her words break their illusions and reveal their hidden darkness. She is covered by God's wisdom, and her voice becomes a force that keeps evil far away from her path. There comes a time in every woman's life when she must choose between belonging to toxic company and walking alone on a path of peace. A woman protected by God chooses isolation over wrong company without hesitation. She understands that sitting alone in her quiet space is far more nourishing for her soul than sitting among those who drain her energy. She does not fear loneliness because she knows that solitude brings her closer to God. In her isolation, she finds clarity of thought and strength of heart. She reflects deeply, prays with sincerity, and listens to the whispers of divine wisdom that guide her life decisions. This isolation becomes her fortress, guarding her from the corruption and darkness of evil company. People often wonder why she refuses invitations or distances herself from certain groups. They may label her antisocial, arrogant, or strange, but she does not care for such opinions. She knows that the price of entertaining wrong circles is too heavy for her spirit to carry. She understands that toxic company can cloud her intuition and disconnect her from her purpose. Sometimes, she sits alone in a quiet room, sipping her tea, reading, journaling, or simply reflecting on life. In those moments, she is never truly alone. She feels the presence of God deeply within her. Her solitude is filled with light, while crowded spaces with wrong people carry hidden darkness. She chooses the light over noise every single time. This choice keeps her protected from evil people, because she refuses to be in places where gossip thrives, where deceit flows easily, or where values are compromised. She remains untouched by their spiritual poison. Evil people cannot influence her because they cannot reach her inner circle. She keeps her environment pure, and in return, God keeps her spirit strong. Isolation also teaches her self-sufficiency. She no longer depends on others for validation or emotional support. She learns to find peace within her own heart, comfort within her own prayers, and joy within her own company. This self-reliance becomes a shield against those who seek to control her by offering fake affection or conditional love. Over time, she realizes that choosing isolation is not rejection of the world, but protection of her soul. It is her way of keeping her connection with God unpolluted. She knows that the wrong company can weaken her moral compass and waste her precious time. Her isolation sharpens her focus and keeps her life aligned with divine purpose. Therefore, when you see a woman who chooses isolation over wrong company, know that she is protected by God. Her solitude is not emptiness. It is sacred space filled with divine presence. Evil people cannot touch her life because she never gives them access to her heart. She lives guarded by her silence, strengthened by her prayers, and surrounded by God's invisible army every step she takes. Sometimes in life, a woman feels deep frustration when she faces delays. She prays for a certain relationship to work, a job to manifest, or an opportunity to arrive, but nothing moves forward. She feels stuck, abandoned, and wonders if God has forgotten her. But what she does not realize in that moment is that divine delays are powerful shields protecting her from evil she cannot see. There are relationships she desperately wanted to pursue, but somehow communication broke down or circumstances blocked her way. She cried over the rejection, not knowing that God had seen betrayal in that person's heart. He saw the silent plans to use her, hurt her, or drain her spirit, so he blocked the connection to save her from deeper heartbreak later. There are jobs or projects she worked hard for, yet every door closed despite her sincerity. She questioned her worth and lost her confidence temporarily. But later in life, she realized those workplaces carried toxic people who would have destroyed her peace of mind. The rejection was not a punishment, but a powerful redirection towards places where her spirit would remain protected and her efforts valued. Sometimes divine delays are humiliating. She feels embarrassed in front of society when her engagement breaks, when her career stagnates, or when her life seems to move slower than others. But years later, when truth unfolds, she understands that God delayed her for a purpose, to keep her away from evil people who would have smiled in front of her, but harmed her behind her back. Delays also strengthen her faith. Every blocked path forces her to rely entirely on God's plan. When she finally sees how she was saved from evil through delays, her heart is filled with gratitude. She stops fearing rejection and begins embracing divine timing with unbreakable trust. She learns to say, if it did not happen, it was for my protection. Over time, she notices a pattern. Every delay in her life ultimately led her to a blessing far greater than what she prayed for. She understands that evil people cannot trap her in relationships or opportunities if God does not allow it. Divine delays expose hidden intentions and close doors that would lead her away from her true purpose. This realization changes her perspective. Instead of crying over delays, she begins to thank God for every blocked path. She knows He sees beyond appearances and hears conversations she will never hear. His protection comes not only through what He gives her, but also through what He prevents her from having. She trusts His wisdom over her desires completely. Therefore, when you see a woman who experiences divine delays in her life, know that she is deeply protected by God. Every delay is a silent act of mercy, shielding her from evil people and unseen harm. Her life is not moving backward. It is being aligned perfectly with divine purpose. She walks forward with calm faith, knowing that what is meant for her will never be blocked, and what is blocked was never meant to touch her soul. There is a unique glow that surrounds a woman protected by God. It is not about physical beauty or external appearance. It is a spiritual light that radiates from within her soul, making her presence feel peaceful, strong, and pure. People feel calm and safe around her because her aura carries divine energy that repels negativity. This glow is not something she creates with effort. It is a reflection of her inner state, her sincerity, her humility, her prayers, and her deep faith in God. Evil people feel uneasy around her because her light exposes their darkness. They cannot remain comfortable in her presence for long because her aura reveals their hidden intentions without her saying a single word. When she walks into a room, some people feel instantly drawn to her kindness and calm spirit, while others feel intimidated without understanding why. The intimidated ones are usually those with hidden envy, jealousy, or malicious intentions. Her spiritual light acts as a mirror, reflecting their inner state back to them, and it disturbs their darkness. Even when she is silent, her energy speaks loudly. Her peaceful aura becomes a boundary that evil people cannot cross. They may try to approach her with sweet words, but her light exposes their lies before they can trap her. This is why many toxic people avoid confronting her directly. Her presence feels too strong for their deceptive spirits. This glow also attracts blessings into her life. People feel safe opening up to her, sharing their problems, and seeking her advice because they sense purity in her intentions. His spiritual light carries healing energy that comforts those around her. She does not need to prove herself. Her aura itself testifies to her truth and sincerity. Over time, she begins to realize that her glow is not just for her protection, but also for the protection and upliftment of others. God has placed this light within her to illuminate the path for those who have lost hope. Even her silent prayers carry power because they come from a heart filled with divine light. Evil people cannot remain near her because her energy is too pure for their hidden intentions. They may gossip about her from a distance, but they cannot touch her spirit. Her glow becomes her shield, keeping her safe from silent attacks, jealousy, and curses. It becomes her silent armor that defends her without her uttering a single word in her defense. Therefore, when you see a woman who glows with a spiritual light, know that she is deeply protected by God. Her aura is a reflection of divine presence within her. No matter how many evil people plot against her, they can never penetrate her light. She walks surrounded by invisible divine protection, radiating strength, purity, and peace wherever she goes.